What is the Luke Belmar morning routine? How do you start every day?
I think your morning routine starts the night before. It starts with how you position your morning. And most people arrive to the morning thinking, oh, well, I woke up, tired or lethargic or have brain fog. That's not normal. For you to wake up, first you have to kind of observe the scenario that you're in before you try to apply any remedy. So you begin to evaluate all these symptoms. I wake up, I sleep 8, 10, 12 hours, and I wake up tired. So you begin to evaluate, what is my sleep cycle? Okay, well, what affects it? The things that I did the day before. So I start with, what do I do before I go to sleep? How do I prepare myself for what we call the night cycle, the moon cycle? And what we do is we have a period where we stop eating. I tell people 7 to 8 p.m., no more carbs. Why? Because they're hard to digest. They are not the lightest food. You can probably corroborate with that. And at the end of the day, it's been proven that intermittent fasting allows you to sleep better. And at the end of the day, you don't want your body to be focused on digesting food. You want your body to be focused on recuperating, regenerating itself, and recovering, which is the purpose of sleep. And if you're not waking up feeling rejuvenated and refreshed, something is the problem. So that's the first thing that I do. I position myself extremely well. I tend to like to have a fixed sleep schedule. I know Colin likes to have a fixed sleep schedule as well. So in my opinion, I position myself with 11 to 11:30. I'm in bed, no phone, no distractions. I empty my mind. Nothing matters because when I go to bed, things aren't going to change. I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is I go for a walk. 20 minutes every single day to set the intentions of the day. I don't get up, check my email. Nothing is of importance to me beyond me fixing myself, improving myself, and understanding, what do I want to accomplish today? Unless you have some sort of objective goal or reason for your day, you're going to kind of stumble around like an accident. Look how many days we just sit in bed scrolling. Oh, it's 11, it's 12, it's 1. We order DoorDash, it's 3 p.m., it's 5. And by the time you get out of bed, you start doing something, it's already dusk. The day is basically gone. And that is a situation that most of us find ourselves in. Why? Because we don't live a day of setting goals and intentions. So what I like to do, go for my 20-minute walk, set my intentions for the day. Today, I'm going to eat healthy. Today, I'm going to ground. Today, I'm going to exercise. Today, I'm going to make X amount of connections, relationships, whatever the goal is for the day, whatever I feel like I want it to be. And the best part is it's dynamic, right? It's not the same fixed thing every single day. I train in the morning, and by 9 in the morning, I have my first meetings with my team. So very light, very mild, and very simple.
Into millions of dollars deep. What are you doing now to try and increase that gravitational pull and mass of yourself, intellectually, spiritually, and physically?
Well, first let's talk about the results.
Right.
What has the gravitas, right? That's the Latin of gravity, gravitas, the ability to gravitate towards, the ability to pull towards. What has it pulled towards? 150,000 aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs from 70 countries waiting to get into Capital Club. So your concept is based on what? Natural law. Natural law is beyond the opinions of men. It is fundamental, and it can be applied to any aspect of life if so you choose to perceive it that way. So when you talk about, okay, all these things that Luke is going to say, what do they yield? Well, it's yielded 150,000 hungry, desiring entrepreneurs that want to win, or aspiring entrepreneurs ready to join Capital Club. That's the end result. Perfect. You want an end result of do $369 times 10% of whatever that number I gave you. Just whatever that is, perfect. Let me give you the framework as to how you can achieve it. 1, your reputation must be unassailable. Your reputation must be pristine. Who you say you are, that is who you must become and who you must be. Hypocrisy does not work. You have to be authentic. Authenticity is what matters. That's number 1. The idea of being fake, first of all, doesn't work anymore. 2, it's expensive in energy. Why? Because acting, it's tiring. Number 1. Number 2 is your mindset. Understanding that unless you have a goal, you're not going to arrive anywhere. You have a goal, but then you need a habit and the patterns. We were talking about the idea of establishing these habits. Habits is this concept of habitat. So the ecosystem that you create around your action is also important. So if you don't want to have junk food, well, don't have junk food in your house. If you don't want to eat candy, well, then just don't have candy in the pantry. If you're gonna smoke weed and well, I got the munchies, well, just make sure that your kitchen is just clean of all the junk food. Why? Because you're creating the habitat so that the seed of effort, when you input it, that it yields result. The last thing you want to do is create an environment where you're fighting against yourself, dude. All these people are like, dude, I'm focused on girls. Like, I want to get, but every single
But they
weekend,
live in Miami.
Every single weekend they go out. They are on every single dating app. Every single time that they're supposed to be doing their work, they're out here interacting with women. And it's not the issue that you can't interact with women. It's the problem that your goal is misaligned with your actions. And if you want something, your actions need to reflect that what you want. You can't want something and then want another 1,000 other things that are the antithesis of that what you want. Because just like you have critical mass, you also have the black hole, which absorbs critical mass. So you need to observe these things, these little gaps in your life that are absorbing your potential to grow, and you need to mitigate them. So we often talk about the things that we need to do, but we often don't talk about the frameworks as to the things that we need to avoid. And many times in life, which is the beauty, it's not so much about how much you have, but oftentimes it's about getting rid of a lot of the things that you do have. I'll give you an example. Who would have most pleasure? Let's say an emperor who's enjoying the finest meat in the world, or a slave who hasn't eaten for 3 days and gets invited for a bowl of soup after, being extremely hungry. Who experiences true pleasure and joy of that experience? Who's truly wealthy in that situation? And that's the paradox in the antithesis of life. It's about the framework and the positioning of where you are. So it's not so much about what do I need to add to my life to get better? No. What do I need to get rid of? What's the baggage that's holding me back? Get rid of those things. Fast from what you put through your eyes. Fast from what you listen. Fast from what you consume. In every aspect of your life. Clean, purge from these things. And then once you detox, well, then you begin to grow. Most people, they're not healthy. Therefore, they cannot operate out of a state of health. If your brain isn't functioning well, if your gut isn't functioning well, how are you going to trust your opinions, your decision-making process? No. First, you need to heal yourself. You need to enter a state of normality, because most of you guys are sick. Most people are sick. And then you make decisions out of that place. So cut out the bullshit. Focus on the little things in your life that you're doing well, and the rest you get incorporated over time. This is the best way to not be overwhelmed, and it's very practical for all of us. Look in the mirror. Ask yourself the 5 first things that come to mind that you need to change, and start there.
And by the way, the most actionable way to do exactly what he just said is to start with a dopamine detox, right? We're talking about phones earlier, right? You quit checking Instagram and TikTok as soon as you wake up. You quit watching porn every day, which, by the way, you need to stop doing if you're watching this video. You stop the constant indulgences in things that are not helping you. But to do this, unfortunately, for most people, requires discipline. So, Colin, how do we establish discipline?
You need to have complete alignment. Ask yourself, do you have complete alignment in what you say, what you do, and what you think every single day? Because for me, when I started entrepreneurship, I was thinking success, retire my mom, buy my, dad a car, travel the world. But what I was doing was complete opposite of that. I was still getting drunk on the weekends. I wasn't sacrificing enough in the gym. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't aware of the things that I needed to establish in my life to get those end results. So my thinking was good, my doing was not. And what I was saying, I would tell my friends, I'm going to do all this crazy shit. I'm going to quit my job. But was I doing the things that were going to allow me to do that? No. Until I got in complete alignment, conscious congruence, that's when everything changed. And now the best part, in my opinion, when you have something accountable to hold you to, like Instagram, for example, when you are constantly posting your life every single day, you are not only using that as an accountability holder for yourself, but everyone else as well. So it's a beautiful thing because everyone's watching you do what you say you're gonna do. You think it, you say it, you do it every single day. And not only are you leveling yourself up, you're doing it for the whole world. So by me doing the little things that I say I'm gonna do, that I do every fucking day, And you guys see me wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. every single day, doing the same workout, helping people online, sharing my wins, sharing my diet, sharing my macros, just sharing all the positivity. You now literally have to do it, or else you feel like shit.
They're holding you accountable.
What you're doing is you digitally have created the habitat that creates the desire to become better. Why? Because you're not looking at ass on Instagram. You're looking at, okay, like these people are winning, and you're doing it from an interesting perspective because you're talking about purpose. And we talked about it this morning. You said, I want $10 million. And I'm like, you're like, I want to make $10 million this year. And I'm like, is that what you want to do? And you're like, no. It's like, no, that's not what I want to do. I said, how are you going to make $10 million? Well, by helping people. How many people? Well, I don't know. Well, that's your number. It's how many people you can serve.
Correct.
That is the goal. Correct. And the money's going to come, dude. Correct. Like, so many people are focused on the money, but they don't understand that the money is a byproduct Correct. Of the energy that you emit. And one thing to add to this, there is money that carries good energy, and there's money that carries bad energy.
Absolutely.
And if you don't understand this principle and you keep bad money, you will be cursed. And if you don't believe it, so be it. And if you're not cursed in this life, you'll be cursed in the next. And that is the name of the game. So clean money, honest money, be a person of integrity, be a person of honesty, and understand that it takes a lifetime to build your character. It takes a lifetime to build your reputation, and it takes 1 single second for everything to come crashing down. So it requires professionalism. It requires your discipline and your habits to have this focus to continue going. And I think most of it comes from shaving a lot of the bullshit down in life.
What are you focused on now?
It's very simple. You need to know how much money you want. Why are you making money? Why are you making money? No, it's a general question. So we have this concept of, okay, you're making money. Why are you making money? How much money do I need to live? So when you're saying, oh, do I have to go get the bag quick? No, why? Because I have 100 years worth of expenses already paid for. So I don't have to adulterate my soul for a fucking clickbait YouTube video so I can make some AdSense revenue trying to freak some kids over some bullshit video, right? I don't have to do that. I don't have to sell myself. Why? Because I haven't positioned myself to be in a state of peace. Most people, they spend too much. They don't make enough. They don't create an environment for them to be at peace. So the reason I mention this is because when we talk about how you build long-term, well, you position yourself to build long-term. You need to understand that you need to plow the land, and then you plant the seed, and then you need to let it grow. You can't fucking force it. You can't fucking force it. It takes time. But what you need to do, make enough money so that you can focus on feeding the seed, watering the seed full time. Most people on their weekends, what do? Bullshit. Most people when they get home, what do? Bullshit. Instead of watering their seed, being able to grow their garden, they're poisoning it.